Hi, welcome back to my channel. So first of all, I'm so sorry for the way I sound. My immune system hates me ever since I came to uni, so I pretty much got no voice and I'm ill like all the time now for some unknown reason. But I'm bored, so I thought we would just play with some makeup. I'm gonna do like full face makeup, use some products that I don't use as often, maybe like on my channel. So yeah, I thought we'd do that. I thought I'd try and do more like an autumn-y sort of like look as well. So I've picked up like some products that I've either don't really use a lot, haven't used, or yeah, or there's a few that I like, kind of like use all the time and you see all the time on my channel anyway. But so of course we're gonna start off with primer. So seeing as I'm doing a full face, I'm just going to go in with my Beauty Crop Wee Cherie Gripping Primer. Now I used this for the first time like the other day and I actually like really like it. I don't know why I've not used it sooner because I've had it for ages. So I'm just going to do like 2 pumps of this primer and then just sort of like dart this on my face, maybe put a little bit more. And then I'm just going to rub this in. Get this all nice and sticky onto my skin. There you go. So now I'm going to wait for that to absorb into my skin and go tacky. So I'm going to do my brows, of course. It's absolutely no surprise. I'm just going to use my Studio London soap brows because it's just nice, quick and easy and I know that they're going to hold. Now I am trying to use up like old makeup products that I know I'm not going to repurchase and things like that, just because I've got like quite a lot of makeup but I use the same makeup, so I am trying to focus on like using like other products and things like that. I wouldn't necessarily say it's being 100% successful because I just revert back to my old favourites, but I'm definitely trying, and I have used up a primer as well, which you will see in my October monthlies empties videos at the start of November. Now there are some makeup products as well that I want to buy, but I'm trying to use up other like products first before I do buy them. Yeah, so that is brows done. Now as you can see, my skin is starting to hate me a little bit again, so I am going to have to spot conceal, but I am just going to go with my Pop Feel full coverage pop concealer just to do that. See, my skin has gone nice and sticky. I'm just taking a dense brush, just gonna dip it into my little concealer part. I actually think I got this off like Temu or something like that, I don't know. And then I just go straight onto the skin. Normally you see people like buff out of the back of your hand, but I say the more coverage the better at the minute, so I'm just gonna go straight on to my skin. There you go. Now I've not blended it out too much because when I put on foundation it's gonna blend that out anyway. So I'm gonna move on to foundation. Now I am going to go with my number 17 Skin Blurring Enhancing Foundation. This is in the shade 002M. Now again, this is a product that I probably wouldn't necessarily repurchase just because I prefer, like, I've got other foundations that I just prefer, but this is something that I've just like don't really use anymore. Or that might be a bit much because I've still got like a long sort of like way to go with this, but this is something that I am trying to use up a little bit more. And then I'm going to go in with a beauty blender. I've got a brand new beauty blender for this because my other one was disgusting. So I'm just going to take a beauty blender and then just to start blending this out on my skin. Now I've definitely put too much on, but I feel like on camera it's made me look like really pale, but it's not like as pale in sort of like real life. But so just blending this out the best that I can. And then I'm going to go in with a little bit of concealer. So I'm just going to go in my collection Lasting Perfection Serum Concealer. This is in the shade Porcelain 2. Now this is something that I will continue to repurchase and that I have repurchased many times. So I'm literally just focusing that sort of like on the centre of my face just to give that extra sort of like a brightness. And then once again just go back in with the same beauty blender just to sort of like blend that out a little bit. There you go. So now that it's all blended out in sort of like the centre of my face, I'm going to go with a little bit of liquid contour just for a powder. So again, I'm just going to go in with my Collection Gloss Finish Contour one. This is in the shade One Light. And then I'm just going to put a few dabs of this like on my forehead and then just sort of like down my cheekbone. And then maybe a little bit too much. And then I'm just going to do a tiny little bit like down the side of my nose. Not that I ever really contour like my nose, but we're going to do it today. And then normally I would go back in with my beauty blender, but I'm going to try it with a brush first just to see if that like works better. I don't know. So I'm just going to go with like this sort of like dense sort of like fluffy brush and just like blend that out into my skin. Okay, I definitely put too much on. Scrap that. I'm going back in with my beauty blender just to absorb some of that excess product. There you go. So that is contour slash bronzer done. Now I'm going to go in with a tiny little bit of cream blush as well. So this is just the Primark Sweet Cream and Lip, sort of like the liquid blush thing. No idea what shade it's in. It doesn't say. But I'm just going to put a little bit onto like the apples of my cheeks and then blend that in with my beauty blender again. Back in with my beauty blender just to blend that out. There you go, so that is all blended out. I'm now going to go in with some powder. So I'm just going to go in my collection Lasting Perfection Loose Powder. This is in the shade Translucent 2. Now again, absolutely love this powder. And folding my hand as it goes absolutely everywhere. Just take my green powder puff and then I am literally just going to put this under my eyes, on my chin and my forehead, just to set everywhere where I have put concealer. Honestly, this powder just sets like my entire face. Like if you like compare like this under eye to that one where I've just put it, like it's honestly is instantly, like it's so good. This is something I'm definitely repurchasing. Wait, yeah, so that is powder all done. So I'm gonna go in with just a little bit of powder bronzer just to sort of like accentuate sort of like the cream bronzer that I put underneath. So I'm just gonna go in my collection Bronze Glow. This is in the shade Light Terracotta 2. It's a matte powder bronzer. Now I haven't actually used this, so I'm praying it's going to be the right shade. I say that. I feel like I could get away with it, so I'm just going to put like a tiny little bit on it and we'll see. I can't lie, I really don't have like a good brush for this, so I'm just going to go in with this brush which I've used previously before. I'm just going to go in with a little bit, sort of like tap off all the excess. Okay, this is pigmented. This was definitely a lot pigmented than I thought it was going to be, so just trying to work it into my entire face. I don't think I've ever been this bronzed. It doesn't look as bad, so we're going to go with that. And then for blush, we're going to use probably one of my favourite blushes at the minute. So this is the Ciate London Powder Blush, just in the shade Matchmaker. Now, it's so pretty. Like, look at that. So I'm going to use this and I'm just going to take it on like a little sort of like fluffy brush. Again, just putting that on the apples of my cheeks. There you go, look at that. So pretty. So now I'm going to put a little bit of highlighter on my face as well. So I'm just going to go with my Ellen Tracy highlighter and blush and just use the highlighter side. Of course, taking that on a fan brush. There you go, so that is base makeup done. So we're gonna move on to the eyes. So I'll zoom you in a tiny little bit. It's a tiny bit easier to see like what I'm doing on my eyes. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is I am just gonna go in with my Revolution eyeshadow priming base. Just put a little bit of that on, just because I am about to put on a little bit of eyeshadow. Just gonna blend that out. Now, I've never actually set my eyeshadow primer base down, but I'm going to do it today just to see if it does make a difference. So again, just go back in with my loose powder, just really quickly set my eyes with that. So now we can move on to eyeshadow. So I am going to use my W7 Nudification palette because again, I've not used this in a really long time. So I'm excited to use it again. Now, I have got a picture up that I found on the internet just for like inspiration, so I'm going to try and do something along those lines. So the first shade that I'm going to go in with, this is the shade Tan Lines, which is this sort of like matte brown shade here. And I'm going to take a fluffy brush and just try and put this in the outer corner and just try and like blend that into my crease a little bit. I'm just going to take a nice little fluffy brush from the Beauty Bay and then just start blending that into my crease all over my lid. And then we are going to do the same on the other side. There you go. So now that's done, I'm just going to take a slightly more dense fluffy brush and I'm going to go in with the shade Undertone, which is again this dark brown here. And I'm just going to take just a tiny little bit and just start pushing that onto my outer corner. It's like my outer crease, just to darken up a little bit. And then blending the two together. There you go. So now just going back in with the first brush that I used, I am just going to go in with the shade Canvas, which is just like a transitional like blending shade, just to blend the edges of the two shades up to my eyebrows to make it a bit more blended into the skin. Okay, so now that's done, with a little like tiny thin winged liner brush, I'm just going to go back in with the shade Tan Lines, which is that first brown shade, and just run that along my lower lash line. There you go, so now that that's done, we're going to go in with some shimmer. So I'm going to go in with the shade Warning, which is this golden shimmer here. And then I'm just going to take sort of like a flat sort of brush and then just put this all over both of my lids. There you go, so now that that is done, I'm just going to take the other side of this brush and just go in with the shade Inner Glow, which is this white sort of like shimmer. And I'm going to put this in my inner corner and I'm going to use it to highlight my brow bone as well. Honestly, I love creating looks like this. Like, this is like one of my favourite things to do. So that is eyes, like eyeshadow and stuff done. So now we're going to go in with some mascara. So I'm going to go in with my Sunkissed Mega Bold Lash Mascara. Now, I have not used this in a hot minute. I've really not used this in a long time. So I'm excited to put it back on my eyes. Now, even just seeing the difference between doing one and the other, like, that is crazy. Like, this is such a good mascara. Like, look at that mascara. That is incredible. Absolutely love. Definitely recommend getting your hands on this. Sunkissed Mega Bold Lash Mascara, waterproof formula. So the last thing I'm going to do is my lips. So now I have a lipstick that I wanted to use. I don't actually have a matching lip liner with me, but I've got one that I'm just going to make work. So we're going to use this Revolution lip liner. I'm fairly sure it's in the shade Chauffeur. Like, it's all like rubbed off. That's what it is. It's just like this really like pretty sort of like nude. So I'm just gonna line my lips with that. The lipstick I want to use is this W7 lipstick. I've no idea the shade. It doesn't have anything on it. It's just in this gold packaging, but it looks like that, and I've got so much of it left. So we're just gonna put a little bit of this on my lips. Now, I know a lot of you will be surprised at the fact that I'm putting on lipstick rather than like a lip cream or like a liquid lipstick, but here to surprise you all. There you go, so that is the lipstick. So all that's left to do now is set my face. So I'm going to go in with my Primark Prep and Perfect Up All Night Makeup Setting Spray. Now, again, I think I've only used this once. Really don't remember like using it a lot. I'm going to use it again today. Now, I don't know if this is something I'd repurchase, purely because I have got like other ones that I would use. Oh, it smells nice. Fresh coconut scent, there you go. No wonder it smells nice. And then I'm gonna let that set my face. There you go, so that is the final makeup look. So this is my final autumn makeup look, using some makeup I've not used in a while. Honestly, my eyes, like, if you could just like screenshot my eyes from there, like, I absolutely love them. So we'll definitely be doing more looks like this in the future, so stay tuned for that. So yeah, thanks for watching and stay tuned for another video.